Hi, I'm Lynette and welcome. Today I'm going to be showing you swatches of some more Give Me Glow singles I picked up. I picked up a couple more here, and a tutorial on this look that I did using some of my Give Me Glow singles. So if you're interested in that, then keep on watching. Okay, so before we get started, just a few housekeeping items. I have my window open because I don't have any power, and I do have a generator, but it doesn't power my central air, so I have the window open. So if you hear any noise, that's why. If I look like I'm doused in sweat, because I am, it's very hot in here with no AC and all these lights on, and my hair is out today. So I'm feeling a little warm. So yeah, if I'm a little glistening, a little dewy, that's why. And if you see me looking down here at times, it's because I have a new monitor with my camera. This way my viewfinder is really tiny and it can be hard to see if I'm in focus, especially when I'm doing swatches, which is something I'm going to do today. So I have this big monitor down here right in front of me. So it may take a little getting used to filming this way, so if you catch me looking down, my apologies, but you know, give me one or two tries and hopefully I'll have this all figured out. Okay, so let's get to what you came here for, and that was more swatches of Give Me Glow eyeshadows. You know that I love me some Give Me Glow, and so I bought some more shadows because, you know, why not? So I'm going to swatch them for you. I bought 6 new eyeshadows, and they are the ones right here. So this row here and these 3 right here. So those are the new ones. And then I used a couple of those and one of my, actually 2 of my existing shadows to create this look today. So I'm gonna go ahead and swatch these for you first, and then we'll get to the tutorial. Now, Give Me Glow, they make matte eyeshadows, they make pressed pigments, and also metallic shimmer. So some of these are pressed pigment, the mattes are pressed pigments. I prefer eyeshadows, matte eyeshadows, as opposed to pressed pigments. You know, of course I love the pigment of pressed pigments, but because they have so little binder in them, if any, it can be difficult to get them to adhere to the eye or to blend them out. The color may blend away, they may not build on itself or on one another. So you will see in the tutorial that I did have a little, just a slight problem with the dark purple shade Grapeness that I'm gonna swatch for you. But other than that, I mean, you know, as usual, very pigmented. I was able to blend out everything, even the pressed pigment, even though it took a little more finesse. And I used the metallics dry on the lid and then wet on the lower lash line, and yeah, I think they do a really nice metallic formula. So let's get started with the lighter shades. This is Concrete Jungle, and it's basically just a light gray, and it's a matte shadow. Oof, this monitor, I gotta get used to this monitor. And it's a matte shadow, which is really nice. Next up is Storm, which is this is one of the eyeshadows I really wanted to purchase, and this is like a metallic pewter, gunmetal pewter. It's really pretty. I can't wait to do an eye look with these 2 shadows together. This next one is Mojito, which is this beautiful blue-green, like the ocean. Very pigmented. Very bright, very pigmented. This is a matte pressed pigment. Build that up a little. And to be a pressed pigment, I didn't have any problems working with that shadow today. Next up is Strawberry Lollipop. Oh, another one of the singles I really wanted. This, of course, is a pressed pigment. Look at that. Oh, gorgeous. This is Electric Mint, a beautiful metallic. They call it a metallic pressed pigment. Look at that. And last but not least, this is Grapeness. This is one of the shadows they more recently released, and it's a matte pressed pigment, and it's like this blue violet shade. And that's all of the shadows swatched. Let's do it this way. That's all of the shadows swatched. You know, as always, very impressive pigment. The metallics, very foiled. So my plan today was actually to use this one, Lollipop, right? Strawberry, yeah, Strawberry Lollipop, and use a couple of my other singles to make a kind of monochromatic, sorry, I'm hot, monochromatic matte eyeshadow look. And then when I got these two right here, I wanted to do something in that cool tone gunmetal pewter family. And then I ended up with this. You know, I get to swatch it and then I just don't do what it is that I initially planned to do. But those two looks I do plan to go ahead and do at some point. And then I completed today's look with a very neutral lip. I used one of my new lipsticks from Propa Beauty, and this is in the shade, this is, I'm sure you've seen this already all over YouTube. I know I've seen a million videos on them already, which of course helps when I was trying to pick a shade. I ended up buying 3. They did come, a couple of them were damaged in transit because it's a very, if you can see that where it's damaged there on the side, it's a very soft formula. This is in the shade Closer. That's what I'm wearing on my lips today. I do have my MAC Chestnut lip liner, but of course, but what I like about these, you don't need a lip liner, so you could totally wear this without a lip liner. And I'm looking for something to replace my MAC Styled in Sepia, and I thought this might be it. This ain't it. But it's still a really, really pretty shade, and I could definitely see myself wearing this a lot because this is the kind of nude brown that I like. And the bullet does have a like this curve in it, which is really comfortable for the lip, and it makes application really precise and easy to apply. And this is a very like satiny, shiny formula. It's very emollient. I want to say like oily type, but it's not oily on the lips. It doesn't feel greasy, and it doesn't move around to where I feel afraid that it's gonna bleed outside of my lips or my lip line, my natural lip line. But yeah, it's not, I'm really into matte bullet lipsticks, so this is definitely a change for me. But I did like the shiny aspect of it. That's what attracted me to these lipsticks, aside from the fact that it's black owned and I wanted to support a black business. So yeah, so far so good. This is my first time wearing the lipstick, my first time wearing any of the lipsticks. So let me know if you'd like me to come back with review, or if you want to see the other two shades I purchased as well. I do like the packaging. It's reminiscent of the Fenty Beauty packaging, but this is I think this is an octagon and Fenty's maybe a hexagon, I'm not sure, but very similar packaging, very cute, very nice. All right, woo, that was a lot about lipsticks for it to be an eyeshadow video. So this is the look I came up with today. I don't love it. I feel like I'm on a roll here doing tutorials with and creating eyeshadow looks that I don't particularly care for, but it has nothing to do with the eyeshadows. Once again, it's all me. It's all me. When I put these greens next to that purple, I felt it kind of took away from the greens, especially this one, this like blue sea green. It kind of took away from it, but again, my fault, not the shadow's fault. But yeah, so this is the look. If you would like to see how I created this look today using some of my Give Me Glow eyeshadow singles, then keep on watching. I'm starting off today's look with the P. Louise base in the shade Rumour 0. This is their white base, and this was my first time using it, and it did crease. You'll see I'll have to go back in and blend out the crease. This is the first one of the bases that has creased on me, and maybe because it was so freaking hot and I was literally melting, maybe that's why my lids were super oily. So now I'm going in and I'm going to take Mojito, that beautiful seafoam green matte pigment, and look at the color, look at the pigmentation. Yeah, there I am blending out that the creases in my base. The first time I've ever had to do that with a P. Louise base. And I wanted to use a white base because I'm using really bright shadows and I wanted to help them along. But as you can see, Mojito didn't need no help. She was fine all on her own. And what I like about this, aside from the pigmentation and the fact that it blends, I tapped it because it's a pressed pigment, and I find tapping on the color first before blending it helps with the blend. But what I like the most, I think, about this shadow is the fact that it remains true to color once I applied it on the lid, and I'm guessing the base had a little bit to do with that, but I love that. Oftentimes you'll take a nice bright color, and as soon as you put it on your base or you put it on your skin and start blending, it can become darker, but this didn't do that. It remained bright and vibrant, and I love it. And I'm just continuing to tap and blend using back and forth motions, and trying not to be too aggressive with the blend, trying to be more gentle than my usual because it's a pressed pigment. Now I'm taking Grapeness and I'm placing that on the outer V area, and I didn't have, in watching this as I'm editing it, like I said, I had maybe a little difficulty with it. I might have had a little more of the difficulty was perhaps on the other eye because it didn't look like I had too much difficulty here while I'm watching this during editing, but I am tapping it onto the outer V area, wanting to build that shade up, not knowing exactly how it's going to perform, although I had some ideas because this is not my first time using Give Me Glow matte shadows. But as you can see, it did pretty well. I'm using small circular motions like I always do on the outer V area, and partially onto the lid, and then a combination of little back and forth motions too. Again, trying not to blend too aggressively, not using a lot of pressure on the brush when I'm blending because I don't want to blend it away, which can happen with some pressed pigments. And this being a really dark purple violet shade, it wasn't, that surprising. I had a little difficulty with it. Just regular purple eyeshadows in general can be tricky to work with. So the fact that this is a pressed pigment, it's not unusual that this would be a little difficult, but it doesn't look like I had too much trouble. And now I'm just going back in with the first shade because I want to make sure we blend these shadows. I blend these shadows together. Don't want any harsh lines. I want it to be a nice seamless blend. Now I'm going in with Ultraviolence, and this is a beautiful violet blue. Very similar to Grapeness, but this is in the Shimmer Metallic formula, and I'm using this dry. I used all of the metallics dry on the lid, and as you can see, vibrant, bright, bold, beautiful. Are there any more B adjectives I can use to describe this shadow? Really beautiful, and I can only imagine what it would have looked like if I had used a damp brush, but didn't need to. And I love a shimmer formula that I don't have to use it wet to get it to pop. Now I'm taking Electric Mint, another beautiful seafoam green metallic, also using it dry. I used the same brush but the other side, and some of that purple, it looked like, got into my crease there. So I ended up changing my brush and using a clean brush, which is what I should have done. This is the clean brush in the first place. And I'm just going to blend that into that Ultraviolence. And I don't know, I feel like maybe this wasn't a good move, because I kind of felt like that Ultraviolence, once those two shadows met, it kind of took away from the Electric Mint. And then back in with Ultraviolence, wanting to make sure that these two blended in seamlessly together. And again, when these two shadows met, I feel like I didn't like the shade that it became. And just adding some more in that inner corner crease that got some of that purple in there from that dirty brush. Now I'm taking Lemon Lime, and I decided that's another beautiful lime green metallic, and I wanted to put it in between these two shadows, but I don't really feel like that worked. I was trying to bring back some of the green that I felt like I had lost, and that didn't really work either. So again, more blending, and then taking that dark Grapeness shade and wanting to make sure that I blend that into the lid as well. And then back with the first shade, Mojito. Just want to go back and blend, making sure that I didn't lose any of the vibrancy of these shadows, any of the opaqueness, any of the opacity, and that they're all blending in seamlessly, not just looking like I just placed shadows next to each other. Trying to get that seamless blend, as always. That's always the goal. And now I'm taking NYX Blame It on Midnight, of course, and I'm using that as my underbrow highlight, but also to blend out the edges of all of the shadows that I put in the crease, because I don't want there to be a harsh line of where all the eyeshadows end and then just my naked skin. I want it to have sort of a soft blend, a gradual blend between where I placed the shadow and then where I left it naked, so to speak. And this is the Sonia G Mini Booster, and oh, I love this brush. It's so versatile. And now I'm just cleaning up underneath the eye. Also giving myself a guideline for my liner. I did the rest of my makeup off camera, and now I'm applying the NYX Jumbo Eye Pencil in the shade Purple, or trying to. And I'm putting that in the waterline, and I'm also going to bring it down a bit onto the lower lash line, and it'll serve as a base for the purple eyeshadow that I'm going to place onto the lower lash line. And now I'm going back in with Ultraviolence, and this time I wet it, and I'm placing that all over the lower lash line, 3/4 of the lower lash line, of course, keeping that little inner corner blank, because I'm going to add my inner corner highlight there. But I used a very tiny flat brush. This one is also from Sonia G. This is a flat definer brush, and that works perfect for the little bit of real estate that I have on my lower lash line. It's a perfect brush, so if you have small eyes, I think this would work for you also. And now I'm going in with my Makeup Geek pencil brush and just taking that lemon lime shade and putting it right there in the inner corner to serve as my highlight. and I use that dry as well in the inner corner. And this is the completed look. I used the Inglot number 77 gel liner for my liner in the wing, and my Kiss lashes in the style Ritzy. And now that I'm looking at it, it's kind of nice, this look. That is the finished look. Let me know what you think of it. Also, let me know in the comments below, have you picked up any of the Propa Beauty lipsticks? I'd be interested to know what shades you picked up and what you think about this formula. If you liked this video, then please give it a like and consider subscribing, because I do eyeshadow tutorials, makeup hauls, swatches, and reviews every Saturday. I want to thank you for joining me today. I hope to see you again next week. Until then, bye-bye.